For some reason I was trying to figure out where these little spots were coming from. And I think they're coming from either my black or my gray. They showed up a lot more. They show up on the side that gets dyed. So whatever's exposed to the dye first. So like on this one, everything on this side seems to have these little pink spots. And I thought it was in association with these grays and my blacks, which might be the case. Anyway, so I tried something different this time. I tried boiling the dye, or not boiling the dye, boiling the water prior to putting it in the bottle with the dye. I was thinking that possibly the issue was it wasn't dissolving enough. So let's see if that fixes the problem. There's a couple other things I thought might be the issue, like cleanliness of my fold surface. Maybe they got contaminated that way. Or even like the bags that I use, like reusing bags, like these. There's like a little bit of residue in here, and if that dries, you can't really tell. And maybe that's where it came from. But the fact that it was only on one side, and it was only on the side that was exposed to being folded, I think it's more likely it come from the gray, not dissolving all the way. But I did all three. Like I went through and I pressure washed my whole garage floor where I fold, and then I got new bags, and I decided to boil the water prior to putting in with the dye to see if that makes a difference. I'm kind of on a time crunch with both of these shirts, or one of these shirts, depending on which one he decides that he wants. I did two just in case. He really wanted black and gray tones. So pink and yellow are not going to fly when it comes to this. So hopefully this fixes it and I can get these out in the mail this afternoon. That'd be a relief. But here we go. I'm going to do this one first. This one is the black on top. This is kind of opposite of how I usually do it. I'm trying this on YouTube this time. Maybe I can put some background music on it, or do a little bit of editing afterwards. I know YouTube has an editing program. I've never used YouTube this way. I always just look at my computer, but my computer's been giving me some issues lately. I was a little nervous about both of these shirts, because I've already done them twice. And I had that, and I'm really not trying to leave this guy hanging any longer. He's already been pretty patient. Granted, I put on there a few days because I make them as the orders come in. But I like to get it done within like 30 hours of the order coming in. And I just had that issue, and then I had it again, and what it looks like, you can see if you're looking at it. I mean, it's pretty bright in here, so it's kind of hard to tell, but on the camera. But from what I'm looking at here, I'm not seeing any of those pink spots. So I think the actual issue was probably, it just wasn't, I was either putting too much dye in the water, and too much powder dye, or I was that was probably it. Or it just needs to be boiled. I mean, the water needs to be boiled prior, but it doesn't say on that dye. Like some blacks, like it says use hot water, but I don't dye that. I don't buy that shade of black because that's an extra step. And I mean, I was pretty content with the colors I had. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. So, like I say, with all my shirts, it's gonna lighten a little bit. this is looking good so far. This isn't the direction he kind of wanted, but I decided to try them both, like a darker top and a darker bottom when it comes to the shirt. Just because I was pulling out of the stops, and I mean, if something was going to mess up, it was going to mess up. I usually, if I had any question on what's going on, I usually make 2 of them. Like, I got a whole bunch of new colors in, and I was doing 2 for a little bit, so I got a feel for it, and I noticed that little issue, and I was pretty sure I knew what it was, but there's a little troubleshooting on that. This is the first one. Let me rotate this thing around. This is the first one. So it can be darker on the top and lighter on the bottom. Come on, buddy. Help me out. That looks a lot better. Yeah, 1,000 times better. Yeah, baby. That's the first one. It'll be dark on the top, lighter on the bottom. That looks good, man. And when you get close on it, you're not seeing these little specks. I'm trying to guess what side I dyed on. Probably this side. You're not seeing these little specks of red, pink, and yellow that I think they use whenever they're making these grays, or even the blacks. The blacks, believe it or not, they have all kinds of colors in it. And I've noticed that whenever I spill little sprinkles of the powder, and it just kind of hits that water, and it just kind of expands out, and you see a little stream of yellow, a little stream of pink, all kinds of colors, even blue. I was trying to explain it to him that, I mean, he's got a real job. He doesn't mess with this. He's like, well, I didn't want any color. I'm like, yeah. What I'm trying to say is, when they're making the dye, they use these colors, and something happened that they showed up on your shirt. So that one's pretty cool, and that's the design he wanted. So that's good. So this other one is just kind of extra. Unless he decides he wants this one, I'll let him choose. I really hope it comes out good, because I'm so used to doing similar styles. And I'm trying to, it's as simple as sometimes just flipping your process, like doing lights on one side that you normally do darks on, or even just doing tops and bottoms type stuff. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's hot. It's a beautiful day out today. Wow, that's hot. I really got to figure out a recording situation. I got to figure that out, because I used a headset last time, and I didn't know if it'd work or not. It turns out that it picked up the mic really well, but the problem with that is whenever it was playing, I didn't know. I was kind of like flying blind. This time, this should be the bottom, and this looks like it got a little bit more saturated with the black. And this should be the top. And I tried to keep some contrast in there. I tried not to saturate it all the way through whenever I dyed it. So let's see how this. looking good though. Cool thing is, this is the size that I wear, so whatever he decides he doesn't want, I get to wear it, or I sell it. You know, my pre-made shirts haven't really been selling though. Everyone wants something different. They all wear different sizes, so thinking about maybe just taking them all down to like a, I don't know, like a, oh wow, that is hot every time. Let's get this thing untied right here. And yeah, I've just been thinking about taking them down to like a market or something and just selling them that way. Like, I don't know how that would even go, and I'm real nervous when it comes to new stuff. It's pretty cool. Look at that heat coming off of it. Man, that is still so hot. Yeah, my goal with these shirts was really contrast, and then just fixing that issue I was having before. I also tried to keep the folds a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, because I don't know, to me they look a little bit more masculine whenever the folds are a little bit longer. They're not as, you know, you don't have that petite fold. Alright, let's look at this thing. So, you really can't tell that I mean, maybe you can tell a little bit, but the top is a little lighter, and the bottom is a little darker, but we'll see whenever when I rinse it out, if it lightens up a little bit more on the top, and it still looks cool. Alright, so those are my two reveals for the day, and I've been doing a lot of these marble shirts, but these are all customer shirts. These are all customer shirts, so I mean, they're selling, so that's really important, being that I really enjoy doing them. But yeah, if I had to choose, I think personally, if I had to choose, and just put you, which one do you think looks better? Got this one with the dark on the bottom and the light. I think this would have looked a little cooler if I would have not splashed so much the darkness up there. And I was really kind of nervous that the black wouldn't look black enough, so I put a little bit extra on there, like halfway through. And then you have this one with the dark on the top and the light on the bottom. I like this one just because that contrast really pops, and I think this is what he wanted initially anyway. So if you like A, it's that one. If you like B, it's that one. But we're gonna wash them and dry them to lighten up a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like after that. Maybe I'll add it to this this clip after this. All right, thanks.